Welcome back, everybody, to Ravenstar's Witching Hour. I'm your host, Solaris Blue Raven. I'm here with my special guest, Eric Pearl. And if you'd like to call in for a question, number is 347-688-2902 or Freedom Screen on Skype. And I do have a question for you, Eric, from someone in chat named Coco. And she's asking, please ask Eric how I can obtain my class photo that was taken.
Can I right before you?
Sure. Go ahead.
Right before you ask this question, I just want to make sure that if we're taking calls, make sure everyone understands that the calls should be about the concept of healing itself in general, so that all listeners can be learning from it, not personal things such as my daughter has this problem or I have that problem, and what can I do for it.
Excellent. Okay, very good. All right, sounds good. Well, we do have one question from the chat room, if you're okay with
Sure.
this one. It's, please ask Eric how I can obtain my class photo that was taken at the class in 2002, Dallas. I've contacted his website about this, and no one got back with me to answer my question.
Aha, that's a really good question. I don't know how to answer it, except the best way to see if we still even have those class pictures from 2002 might be to call our office, and the phone number there is area code 323-960-0012, 323-960-0012, and maybe speak with Cecilia there, or you can email Cecilia@thereconnection.com. That's spelled Cecilia, Cecilia@thereconnection.com. She might be able to find it, but I hate to give you potentially disappointing news, but that was so long ago, different management, and I don't know for sure whether they can be found. But I think it's a great question to call and ask, because if we can put someone on it and find that, it means maybe we can find more old pictures, and that'd be wonderful. Love to even post them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you for that.
Or stop in when we're in a seminar near you and just say, hey, lost the class picture. Can we take one together? And we'll do one at the book signing.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, like that one. And so far as the, you do everything with hands off, right?
This is basically hands off. I say basically because I teach you how to do it hands on at one small point during the seminar, just to let you know it can be done that way. But this form of healing is so high, done with light, that touch is really a more seemingly contracted, a slightly, I hate to use the word lesser, but I can't find a better word right now, but a more limited way. I believe the highest form of this is done off the body. The reality is nothing really touches. I mean, even if you place a glass of water on your table, you think the glass and the table are touching each other, but most of everything is space. They're just in each other's field. Nothing really touches anyway. And at this quantum level, to go back to the phrase that you were using earlier in this, energy gets weaker with distance. I'm not talking about distance healing, like between here and South Africa. But I mean, if you hold an energy source near something by an inch, and then you move it 6 inches or a foot away, it gets weaker. You move it 3 feet away, you move it 15 yards away, it gets weaker and weaker. But this actually becomes stronger. It turns the laws and what we understand even through quantum physics, it turns the laws upside down and inside out. And so we teach you how to work off the body at greater and greater distances, and you see stronger responses, what we call involuntary registers of the person on your table, and it seems to enhance more greatly the healings.
Wow, that's incredible. And have you ever measured any types of frequencies that you're emanating during your sessions?
Well, the frequencies are so comprehensive that they don't know how to measure it. They don't have the equipment to measure it. They try to measure it with the equipment that they have, and they're able to determine that it's much stronger, more comprehensive, more rapidly, dramatically effective of people than anything they found in Reiki and Qigong and energy healing techniques. But they also are quick to acknowledge that there's so much more going on that they don't even know how to measure yet. And these are major, major, major important players in the field of research on all continents. I don't know about the Antarctic continent, but the other continents.
It's really incredible. So is it safe to say that the practitioner is a conduit for this universal energy, or whatever what you want to call it? Is the person a conduit? A
Even
vehicle?
more than a conduit. Actually, a catalyst. I used to think of it as a conduit in the beginning. You can think of a straw as a conduit for a milkshake, but the straw is not changed, essentially by the milkshake. In this state, you as the healing practitioner are actually changing, evolving, receiving your own healings as you are facilitating the healings for someone else. So this teaches us to learn to be, you could say, the observer and the observed, the witness and the witnessed, the seer and the seen, and to learn to observe without judgment, without trying to direct for a specific healing result, and instead the intelligence of the universe determines the healing result, not only for the person coming to receive the healing, but for you as the practitioner in your continued evolution.
That's incredible. So it's intelligent energy and knows exactly where to go. It sounds like
it knows where to go. It knows what to do. And in essence, you could say it knows its own way home, and we'll get there to the degree that we are willing to get out of the way and allow it to find its own way home, not to tell it what we think home should be.
Nice. Well, I like that. If you're a control freak, this is hard.
And you know what? That's part of what's so shocking about this coming through me, because I've always been a strong control freak.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm kind of like that too, yeah. Wow, but it's phenomenal. So how do you switch on and switch off? I mean, do you use a certain technique to do that?
No, there's absolutely no technique. What happens is there's a heightened state of an awareness that you learn how to feel this, how to find it. You resonate at a higher level with it. And as you do that, you become more and more aware of it. And your awareness of it brings its expanded existence into the equation.
I love it. That's really nice. It's very simple in a way. I mean, it's less complicated, it seems.
It is so simple. It is so simple that on one level we come and going, oh, I must have had this all along. Well, actually, no, you don't until you interact with it. But once you do, you have it then, so it really doesn't matter.
And can you go into detail insofar as how did you find this energy?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a really strange story. What happened was I was practicing as a doctor of chiropractic for 12 years when one night a few strange things happened. I was awakened by a bright light. I opened my eyes to see what it was, and it wasn't anything seemingly spiritual or metaphysical. It was just the lamp next to my bed for some reason had decided to turn itself on. I figured maybe it was an electrical short, except shorts usually turn things off. But at the same time, I had a very uncannily strong feeling and awareness that it was as if I had been being watched in my own home while I was asleep. It was such a strong feeling that I actually got up with a knife and an old can of pepper spray I had in a drawer somewhere, and my Doberman pinscher, and went looking through the house to see who was there. And after about 15 or 20 minutes of not finding anyone, I told myself it had to be my imagination, even though it didn't feel that way. And so I went back to sleep, which wasn't even an easy thing to do because I was still feeling as if someone was there. But that Monday when I went into my office, the strangest things started happening. I would adjust my patients, as I always did as a chiropractor, tell them to lie on their back with their eyes closed and allow the adjustment to settle into place. When I removed my hands from them, I was feeling sensations in my hands. As I played with the sensations in my hands, while their eyes were closed, their bodies would go into involuntary movement. Their eyes would dart back and forth. Tiny little muscles in their face would move the way that it seemed to be. It would look as if it was rippling the way water would ripple if you dropped a pebble into it. When they opened their eyes, they started reporting seeing colors they'd never seen, smelling flowers they'd never seen. They started demonstrating real healings. They were telling me they felt multiple sets of hands resting on their bodies. But when they got up, they could suddenly walk, even if they came in wheelchairs, some of them, vision and hearing returning, people regaining the use of arms and legs. Children with epilepsy or cerebral palsy were suddenly able to walk and run and play and speak normally, not have seizures, not have medications. Their doctors started calling me, the kids' parents started calling me, asking me what I had done. I said, I didn't do anything and don't tell anybody. Well, you can imagine how big that one went over. More and more people started calling, saying they wanted the same thing. And the next thing you know, people started asking me to teach us. And I said, teach it. You've got to be out of your mind. I said, I'm standing there, I'm waving my hands in the air, looking like a fool. I said, you go outside, wave your hands in the air. You let me know what your neighbors have to say about you. But more and more, my patients would call me after they left my office and say, I just drove home and I pulled up in front of my house. My automatic garage door started to open and close by itself before I hit the button to open it. Or I walked inside and my lamp or my TV started turning on and off. I felt strange sensations in my hands. I held them as someone in my family. My grandfather could walk after the stroke. My aunt regained her hearing. And that's when we began to recognize that once we interact with this more expansive healing spectrum, what science today actually refers to as the reconnective healing spectrum, that something changes within us, not only allowing us to access our own healings, but allowing us to facilitate healings for others. Today, there are so many studies on reconnective healing, 6 of them independently of one another, demonstrate and have confirmed that it restructures, or the word I like to use, of course, is reconnects our very DNA, making the levels of light that we emit not only higher, but more harmonically coherent. And this is the reason that a lot of the scientists present as being most likely the plausible reason that the healings tend to be so instantaneous, allowing tissue to just instantly restructure itself, and why the healings tend to be so lifelong, that the densities that we consider our health challenges seem to have nothing left to hold on to at this higher level of light, so they just fall away. And the reality is, A, healing truly is just as simple, and B, I believe that anything more complicated than that is designed to sell us something. But it's not just the object that it's designed to sell us. What it's really attempting to do is to sell us in the fear that we are less than abundantly enough, that we are less than the fullness of the light that we are. And once we step into this recognition, there's nothing we need to add from the outside. No more healing toys, no more crazy pyramid hats. There's no fear-based consciousness making us think we need to protect ourselves in a white flame or a purple flame or anything else, that we just simply step into the light, the love, the truth of the existence that we are. And once we step into that light existence, we simply inspire others somewhere inside. When people interact with you,
Eric, you there?
You back.
Hey, Eric, you were breaking up a little bit here. Can you hear me?
This level.
You know what? I'm thinking about calling you back real quick. Is that okay? Can I disconnect you and call you right back to get a better signal? Yeah, you're breaking up. Okay, I'm going to call you right back. Hang on for just a second. Sorry, guys. That's a bad connection, or his energy is cranking. Oh, what a weird day. I was still trying to get him. Hang on. Where'd he go? I appreciate you guys listening tonight. Hang in with me here. Are you there?
Honey, I'm home.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
It's been so long.
I know. I brought flowers and chocolates.
Is it your energy field that's doing this?
It does it a lot. It happens a lot. I don't know what to attribute it to. I really don't. It happens. I haven't moved an inch since we started talking, so I'm not, changing my location.
Right, and usually it's pretty solid. Okay, well, you sound a little bit better now, so we'll just work through it, and yeah, you should be okay there. So does the practitioner receive a kind of initiation at your seminars?
Well, I don't like to think of it as an initiation because we don't do anything for it to happen. What happens is that you find yourself immersed in this field, and this field changes you. so that you're able to do it. So yes, some people will, for lack of a better word, refer to it as an initiation, but there's no actual initiation. It's sort of like tea bags steeping in water. You just steep in it and you become changed. So no, there's not like Reiki. There's no initiation. No one has to attune your crown chakra or your hands or anything.
That's really good. And do you work with implants at all, like etheric implants, or have you had to deal with anything like that?
No, we don't work with etheric implants because when you vibrate at this level of light, picture a flame. Can you really implant something into a flame?
Right. Yeah, very good. Well said. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So I take it that your impression of radionics and other things is just like that's primordial compared to this type of an energetic that can be brought right in and instantaneously heal someone.
I think radionics was probably one of the many, many, many beautiful things that we've had, but we're in a time frame now of human evolution to recognize that we no longer need to give our power away to machines, healing toys, objects, rituals, or control-based techniques. It's now time for us to become what it is. Every time we invest in something external, such as radionics or something like that, we give away our power. We invest in an external power, and external power is transient. Internal power is eternal.
Mm-hmm. Again, very well said. I so agree with that. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the transhumanism thing, but there is this agenda where they're trying to merge man with machine. Are you familiar with that at all?
I am not, and to
Okay.
tell you the truth, I really have no desire to be.
Oh, that's good. No, I'm just curious because it's kind of some things that have been, I've talked to many people and I'm aware that they've been doing that. But anyways, that's good to
I
know.
think it's a step backwards to
I
me.
agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. And so that's why I brought it up because I'd rather see this deployed opposed to the control and manipulation factor. So very, very good.
Thank you. And that's a beautiful way of saying it.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm going to have to check you out at your seminar. We had that big flood here in Colorado, and I was planning on visiting you in Boulder, and I didn't get a chance to, so apologize. But next time you're in town or I'm close enough, I'll definitely come by.
Yeah, I know. I had a close friend. I have a close friend that I grew up with. She was an older woman. I was 5 and she was 9. But anyway, she was living in Boulder, and the floods prevented her from being able to come down also.
Oh, it was a mess, I'll tell you what. Yeah, very interesting timing there. But how would you entrain the mind of someone to connect in with light consciousness? I mean, is there a specific technique? I know you don't really talk about techniques, but there must be something.
When you, let's say that someone places an object in your hand, something of a shape or a form different than you've ever interacted with. Once you feel it, you know how to feel it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, once you feel this, you know how to feel it. You don't have to entrain with it, although I will tell you that you do automatically entrain with it. You automatically entrain with the higher, more coherent light vibrations that come through, but there's no way that we can tell someone or show you how to entrain with it because it's your innate human nature. It's our innate human nature. Our cell walls are liquid crystalline structure. They automatically change shape and form as need be. And that's on a physical level. Here we go on a more etheric, energetic level. We have the natural ability to entrain. We need not be taught. It's too cerebral to teach. It's something that's an instantaneous transformation where you can't really teach healing. Healing at this expanded level is imparted by a natural interaction with it, and then you access it with the instantaneous and yet continually expanding familiarity with the sensation. So really what happens is you're steeping in it for 2.5 days, and you are becoming so familiar with it that it's second nature, and we almost wonder where it was the whole time. But it's part of our challenge is to recognize that we grow from our interactions with other people. And this demonstrates that so perfectly. You can't sit, just like you can't sit on the 24th floor of a hotel room by the beach and ohm the ocean in. We're all entitled to the ocean, but you can't sit there and ohm it into your hotel room. A, it's not coming, or B, if it doesn't come, you better run. It's a tsunami. The only way you're going to get it is to put on your spiritual little bathing suit and your spiritual little butt and march it into the elevator, down across the lobby, across the beach, and then and only then can you get equally as wet with ocean water as any other human being. And with this, it's the same way. When you hear someone say, yes, I was reconnected in a dream, I was reconnected as a child, I was reconnected in my past life, it's that degree of spiritual self-entitlement that precisely prevents people from ever having a full reconnection. They have to share with another human being to receive it. And this is the universe bringing us a lesson in transcendence of the ego of self-entitlement.
It certainly sounds that way, without a doubt. And it sounds like now this seems to be permanent insofar as once they start tuning into this, they carry it with them unless they decide to switch it off for some reason, right?
You can't switch it off. Once
Okay.
you interact with it, you're permanently changed. So I tell everyone, I hope you like it.
Cool.
Because you can't get rid of it. Sometimes people will say, oh, I've interacted with someone and I saw that they were losing part of their reconnection. That's that other person's ego. You can't lose it. Once you have it, it is forever you. You become a more expanded spirit or soul, or whichever word you want to use on this. And once you are that, you're always that. It's like, let's say, for instance, you decide that you're going to go to a charity dinner. You get dressed, it's 5 o'clock, 5:30, maybe you do something with the kids, you finish your hair, you put on some makeup, you put on your perfume, you do a few other things, you leave the house. And you drive half an hour, you get to where you're going, you get into an elevator, and someone goes, that's nice. What's that scent? It smells really beautiful. And what do? You go to your wrist and you sniff where you spray the perfume or put on your scented oil or something, and it reminds you of what it is because you weren't thinking about it. You weren't aware of it when it didn't serve you. This is the same way. It's always there. It doesn't turn off or on. What you do is you bring it to your awareness, or when it's not at a time to interact. I mean, I'm not thinking about it and feeling it while I'm cutting my dinner with a knife and a fork. But when it's time to do the healing, I bring my awareness to it and that it's always there. You never lose it. You never lose it.
It's wonderful. So it's kind of like you set the intent and then everything kind of sets itself. Is that a good analogy or no?
It's not so much about intention.
Where'd you go? Oh, losing you again. Are you there? You're breaking up a little bit. Okay, you're breaking up a little bit, Eric. Oh. Sorry, you guys. Can you hear me, Eric? Hello?
Yeah.
He's breaking up a little bit here. Eric, you're breaking up a lot. I can hardly hear what you're saying. Let me try and pull you back in. I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to try to pull you back in. Eric, are you there? Okay. All right, you guys. Sorry about this technical stuff going on tonight. I guess it's par for the course, right? Anybody see any flying reindeers yet? All right, let me try it again. 'Tis the season. See if I can't get a better line. Bear with me here, everybody. This is your Zen moment, everyone. It's not quite dead air, right? Oh my gosh. All right, I'm still trying to get him back and it's not receiving. My goodness, what a night. Let me try again. Good grief. What a mess. I know. I'm trying to get him back, everybody.
Hi. Well, what I did was I shut Skype off and I restarted it to see if that helps us any.
Okay, thank you very much, and hopefully it did. I can hear you loud and clear right now, so thank you, Eric. You there?
Good.
Okay, let's see if we can get through this here. All right, we were talking about intent. Are you there?
Yeah, where did I cut off?
Okay, yeah, when we were discussing intent, and it just went break up.
Okay. The intent is not to bring about a specific result. It's to be in the process of awareness and to share that space with another person, to vibrate at a level of light, and to allow them to vibrate at that level of light.
Okay, very good. That's a good kind of quick description of that. And if people want to buy your books, they get them on Amazon.com. Is that correct?
Amazon is always the best place. There are two books. One is called The Reconnection, Heal Others, Heal Yourself. It's in 39 languages, and you can get it on Amazon, of course. And it's just like the website is, thereconnection.com. The book is The Reconnection, Heal Others, Heal Yourself. And the other book that's out is called Solomon Speaks on Reconnecting Your Life.
Excellent. And I have your website listed in the chat room tonight. And if people want to get a hold of you, do you actually offer phone sessions at all, or where are you at?
I don't do private sessions any longer. I am so busy on the road teaching, and I figured I've got a choice. I could do private sessions and help one person at a time, or I could teach people how to do it, and then every other human being has the potential to help as many people as I can. So I teach hospitals, universities, United Nations, governments, and hotels, because my favorite teaching is teaching of the general public how to do this work.
Nice, very good. And we do have a caller here at area code 256. Caller, you're on the air. Are you there?
Hey, what's going on?
Hi. Did you have a question for Eric Pearl?
I'm sorry. What was the subject? I was on here looking at some stuff online, and I got
okay.
this number. What's the subject? What's the subject?
Never mind.
Come on. Never mind. Hey, what's the subject?
No, actually, I'll let you listen. We're talking about reconnective healing here, so you'd have to really listen to the show to really understand the questions. And
wait, what? No. I mean, I'm a person. I understand things.
Did you listen to the show? Have you been listening to the show?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'm going to let you go. Thank you. All right, I'm sorry. I didn't want to keep him on any longer than I had to for that one. But
no, that was charming.
Yes, thank you. Because I know sometimes we get those callers, and if you're not listening to the show and you just call in random, that's not going to work. Yeah, sorry, guys.
I have to tell you something. I'm so sorry that you weren't able to make it to Denver, because you sound like a real kick. You sound like it'd be a lot of fun to meet in person.
Why, thank you. No, I know I'll meet up with you at some point in the continuum, because I really just feel real resonance with this type of work, so I'm sure. Yeah, I definitely have a fiery personality, but I am a control freak, so that would be me letting go of the wheel is something. But it's interesting because with all the programming we've had throughout childhood, it's so hard to let go and get out of the way to allow healing, which is something that, it should be very simple to do, but it's very difficult sometimes.
We're taught control. We certainly are taught control. We're taught if we want something, go after it. And really, I think what we're here to learn today is not just to focus on what we want, because what we want can be coming from a limited perspective or a view that we have, but to recognize that some of the greatest gifts come in allowing ourselves to be surprised, and some of the greatest gifts are in witnessing the perfect orchestration of God, of love, of the intelligence of the universe. I say to people when they come in for healing sessions, and I say to my practitioners when I teach them, I say, you know what? Let your person know. Say, look, if you're lucky, and I know lucky is not a popular word in the spiritual field, but I use it because I think it conveys this point the clearest. If you're lucky, you'll receive the healing you've come in intending for yourself. But if you're truly, truly, truly exquisitely fortunate, you'll receive a healing you haven't even dreamt of, one that the universe has designed specifically for you.
Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense. And I know you talked a little bit, I've heard you before on other shows, and I'm wondering, I mean, you talk a little bit about other lifetimes or actually existing between lifetimes, which I find interesting. If you're existing between lifetimes, what does that do for your memory banks or for your cellular memory?
Well, it's not something that's just unique. We all cycle through our many lifetimes. We're designed to live a certain length of time, but we're designed to, if we allow ourselves to live it at a level that we will call healing or evolution, we live this at our highest potential. And yet, when our lifetime is finished, we return to that light that we all come from, that we all return to, where we understand the secrets of the universe. We make decisions, we make choices as whether or not to return. While we're there, we do understand that there's a reason for everything. Everything makes perfect sense, but we're not supposed to understand fully life here the way we understand it in between our lifetimes, because our growth, our lessons here come not so much from the actual answers as we think it does come from, as much as it comes from the seeking of the answers. That's part of our experience that's here. But we do also exist on all fields at once. Time is simultaneous. Our existence of life is simultaneous. We're existing on this earth plane at the same time that we're existing on other planes, whether we call them Pleiadian planes or Syrian planes or New Jerseyan planes,
Mm-hmm. Very true. Yeah, I totally resonate with what you're saying, without a doubt. What did you feel is the biggest cause of illness for people in general? What do you think that is?
What is the biggest cause of illness? That's a great question. I know that a lot of current thought on that is that, we didn't complete a communication, or we're too angry, or we're this, or we're that. I believe that illness really is a lesson in balance. And we're here to learn balance. It's the same thing, ego is a wonderful tool for learning balance. People think we have to completely transcend the ego as if ego is some horrible mistake. God was working over the human being, actually accidentally dropped ego into it and said, oh, great, now I'll never get that sucker out of there. Ego is not a mistake of God. Ego is an ever vigilant, always awake process of balance. Without ego, we wouldn't excel. We wouldn't choose to excel in many areas. We wouldn't do many things. But the problem with ego is learning balance, or not the problem, the gift of ego is learning balance with it. The problem with ego is when we let ego lead in our decisions and in our choices. And I have a funny feeling that is part, if we follow that, of the insight that lets us understand the gifts of illness. Sometimes we'll go through an extreme illness where we just feel that we're going to die. And when we come out of that illness, we find that we are more alive, more vibrant than we were before. It's a shedding of the old that doesn't work for us any longer, allowing us to cleanly step into the new and vibrate at a higher light and a higher resonance with the universe.
Right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I agree with that. And how many sessions does it take for a client to start improving? You say pretty much one session, right?
I teach the practitioners. I say give 1, 2, or 3 sessions at most, and then let go and allow the healing to unfold. You don't water the same flower day after day after day, and you don't want to build a dependence upon your people, because healings really take the time of a snap of the finger. Healings are fairly instantaneous. What takes us the time to receive the healing sometimes is just the time that we feel that it takes us to accept the fact that the healing could have taken place. So I'll teach practitioners, I say, do your healing sessions for 30 minutes. If you're doing it much more than that, you're just wasting time. And you're doing it for 30 minutes so that some people feel that they won't allow themselves to accept a healing within 3 seconds. It's the same logic for doing 1 or 2 or 3 sessions. Some people can't wrap their minds around receiving a healing for something in 1 session. So 1, 2, or 3 sessions, but by then you have to let them go and they have to step into a greater reality on their own. If you want to see them again in 6 months or a year, that's another story.
think that's really good. Yeah, they do get codependent without a doubt. And do the patients, are they required to detox prior or do anything special?
There's nothing you need to do before to prepare for this. There's nothing you need to do afterwards to allow it to take place. One of the best things you can do after a healing session is let it go. Just let go of it. Trust or give yourself the gift of knowing that the healing has taken place. And if you keep your mind on it, and you find you can't take your mind off of it, do something to distract yourself. I don't care if it's reading a book or going to the movies, but let it go. Part of the things that we do is we carry weight around with us through our lifetimes, all day, every day. Let it go. Give yourself a break and let it do what it does. These feelings are so strong, you don't even have to believe in them for them to happen. Sometimes believing in it too much can be the interference. When these healings first started happening, my patients were coming in to see a chiropractor, and I thought I was one. You couldn't better double-blind a study than that. Neither they nor I had faith, hope, belief, positive visualization, anticipation, nothing. And it just happened. Later on, when people started hearing about the healings, they started flying in from all around the world. And many times I would be presented with someone to do a healing session, and the person not only didn't believe in it, but, they didn't even want to be there. They were forced to come by a well-meaning friend or a relative, and they tell me they don't believe in it, and they felt ridiculous. And I said, well, don't believe in it. Why don't you say maybe this is real, and maybe it isn't, but whatever it is, it's a rare and unique opportunity to rest your eyes for 30 minutes. So lie down, let go, and let it do what it does. And these people would receive the healings. If anyone didn't receive the healing, it wasn't the person who didn't believe in it. It was the person who came in believing in it too much. The person who says, I know this works, it has to work, I've read every book ever written on healing, I'm sleeping with crystals under my mattress, etc., etc., etc. They were so attached to needing it that their attachment, their neediness, became the very limiting constriction that interfered with it coming through, whereby the people who didn't believe in it at all, well, it's kind of hard to be attached to something if you don't believe that it exists in the first place.
Right.
They say you have to, in a lot of forms of faith healing and other things, you have to have a belief in it. But the truth is, if you take a book and place it on a table, the table will catch the book. And I can pretty much assure you that the book does not believe in the table.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. That's pretty interesting. So the same thing goes with people who want to bring in their guides in a session. And I'm sure you've had...
No need.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you deal with that with a patient or a client?
What I say to people is, listen, if you want to say one prayer once, say it. And then release it. I mean, how many times do you mail the same letter?
Yeah, there you go.
If you can have that much faith in the U.S. Post Office, believe me, have that much faith in your press. There's no reason to tell God or your guides or anyone else what you need or how you need it to be. They already know why you're there.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know why
Uh-oh.
you were there.
You're breaking up again, Eric. Oh, goodness.
Knew why you were there while you were parking the car. Now it's time for you to let...
You're breaking up. Can you hear me?
Now
you are.
Isn't that a pisser?
I'm telling you. Oh, there he goes. Guys, this is a classic episode tonight, I swear. So I'm getting him back. I apologize for the technical issues. I hope you all are enjoying the show. I certainly am. I'm going to get him back. And he's right, I must say. All right. There you go. Can you hear me?
People are gonna start. Yeah, but we've got to stop meeting this way.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I
Yes.
said we've got to stop meeting. I said we've got to stop meeting this way. People are going to get suspicious.
Oh, I know. Oh, what to do? But you're right about the guide thing. You're really, really right. You're just spot on about that information. But it is really hard to get people to break away from that pattern.
It is, because it's hard to get people to let go of control.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, and I'll give you a story. I'll give you an example. You know, when I was learning how to swim, I couldn't swim as a kid, and I would try to do everything, and I would do the right number of strokes, and turn my head the right every 3 strokes, and breathe in and breathe out, and do everything the correct way. But I was afraid that I was going to drown, and that what that did was it gave me a stiffness that I couldn't swim with it. And one day, I decided that I don't care whether I sink or not. I'm going to be in the process of doing the Australian crawl appropriately in the water, and I don't care whether or not I sink. And as soon as I freed myself from the control of trying not to sink, I found that I stayed on top of the water. I floated.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people have a lot of deprogramming to do, is my take on that, insofar as just the way they function. I mean, and I can speak for myself too. And I do have a healing background, and I mean, it's so right. And what you're saying is right on, because it does put a block in what you're trying to achieve by pushing it too much with your belief systems. I mean, transcending things I can understand, but yeah.
Guides are there. As you feel that guides exist, then trust that your guides are the ones who guided you to the healing session anyway. What are you doing talking to them? They already want you to be there and listen. The more we talk, the less we hear. There's this very interesting, wise, it's almost funny sounding because it's childish, saying that says, "A wise old bird sat in an oak. The more he heard, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard." Why don't you be like that wise old bird?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we need to learn that with our guides. Sometimes we need to stop talking to them. Give them a break.
I so agree. I really do. And it's interesting because I know you said you work on children, and also, excuse me, I met with, Renee Colson was on my radio show a couple of months back, and she works with
Mm-hmm.
the animals, and I know she's one of your students, right? So,
Yes,
originally,
and
yeah.
she's one of the people who does she teaches people how to work with animals. But let's not get confused with doing reconnected with healing with animals, because it's not done any much of a different way. Animals are people in fur suits.
Mm-hmm.
Life is life, love is love. The only thing that's taught in the Reconnecting Animals seminars that Renee teaches is how do you best approach different animals that have different natures and different personalities so they can feel relaxed and comfortable with you, but you do the healing the very same way. It's a sharing of love, of light, of existence.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Yeah, I really like that. It's an awesome system, if you ask me. I don't even want to call it a system. I guess it's kind of a healing system. What would you define it as?
You're just gonna have to bring yourself to a seminar,
Yeah.
and then share your greater understanding with it, in another interview at another time.
Oh, definitely, for sure, without a doubt. And can a practitioner work on a client if the practitioner does not feel 100% healthy? Does that ever happen?
Sure, of course you can. I mean, how can I say this? It's not your physical that mediates the healing. It's your essence, and your essence is always perfect. So, sometimes people say, do I have to heal myself first? What if I have multiple sclerosis, for example? You can still do the healings. Your essence is always perfect. One level of healing is your own. But it's different when you're facilitating healings, and in facilitating healings, you're receiving your own healing at the same time. And also, if you wait to get through all of your own life challenges and health challenges to feel that only then you'll be perfect enough to facilitate healings, you'll find that you missed your opportunity. Your life has come and gone. It's like waiting for the perfect time to get pregnant or the perfect time to get married. If you wait for it, it will never come about. But usually you'll find that once you are pregnant, once you are married, it turns out to be the perfect time. Step into the sharing and the giving to others. Don't put it on hold until you feel perfect. Now, look, you can take an extreme. Let's say, for instance, you're a healing facilitator, but you wake up one day, you've got 107-degree fever, you're expelling fluids from every orifice of your body, you have a pounding headache and everything else. Maybe that's not the best day to do healings, but only because you're in a state where you're maybe not able to feel in that space to be able to be calm and focused enough and be present with someone. But that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get the distinction.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
so far as your traveling goes, are you still traveling right now? Are you taking a break for the holidays, or what you up to?
I just made it back to Los Angeles 2.5 days ago after being on the road for the last 3 or 4 months.
Okay, so you're going to take a little break, and then you're going to start back up in next
Well,
year?
life is never, it's not a break. Believe
Okay.
me, I've got a lot of work to do in the office over the next couple of months.
Oh, wow.
But so it's definitely not what you'd consider a break from work, but it is a little break from the teaching touring concept, from being in a different country, different city, a different country every week. The funny thing about this is I've been doing this continuously pretty much for the last 12 years or more, and I hate packing. Isn't that funny? Everything else I love, but please don't make me pack.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like packing either. I can understand that. Yeah. Well, I hope you travel light, or maybe you don't. I don't know.
No, I definitely don't. I can't travel light. I'm doing sometimes as many as 24 television interviews in a weekend, which means I need changes of clothing. I'm going through 3 different climates at a time, which means I need heavy clothes, medium clothes, and clothes that in colors so light and cotton that doesn't stick to my body depending on the environment. I mean, you've got to be prepared for everything. It always looks like I'm moving into a hotel for 3 months when I show up. They go, "You're only going to be here a week?" I said, "Yeah."
Oh, how funny. That's funny. That's classic. Well, I'm glad you're back for a little bit anyways. And I was going to ask you about meditation. I mean, so where's your take on meditation in general?
I think meditation is a wonderful way for people to attain higher levels of states of awareness. But something very fascinating about reconnected feeling is once you access it instantaneously, you enter into a state where they've measured brain waves of people, heart waves of people, even the energetic emissions from our bodies. And they find that oftentimes the measurements tend to be at a higher level than even master meditators who have been working at meditation for decades.
Incredible. Wow. That's something.
I don't make it a regular practice to meditate. I really don't. But I do enjoy it sometimes when I do it. But it's not a frequent thing for me.
Mm-hmm. That's good to know. And do you think there is a disconnect between Western medicine and holistic healing, or has it gotten better over the years?
I think that today medicine is so much recognizing what they like to call alternative.
Oh boy, what a signal. Okay, Eric. Excuse me. Can you hear me? Well, we've got 10 minutes of the show left. You're still breaking up there, Eric.
Complementary or integrative forms of healthcare that they're treating.
Oh, blast. Sorry, you guys. This has been an interesting night. I tell you what, I've never had so many signals drop. So bear with me. I'll try to get him back one more time. We're almost at the end of the hour here. So, how annoying. Okay, we're going. Trying again. There he is. Well, hang on, guys. Still trying to get him back. I think I'll get him in a second here. My goodness. Oh, there you are. Well, you know what? We only have 10 minutes left. Hey.
Okay, that's all right. So here's what I was saying. Picture a diamond. Picture different facets on the diamond. The diamond is not medicine. The diamond is healthcare. Medicine is one gorgeous facet of one gorgeous diamond. Chiropractic is another facet. Dentistry is another facet. Acupuncture is another facet. Reconnective healing is another facet. So it is not integrative, alternative, or complementary medicine. That's medicine trying to be Park Avenue and own something and position themselves. It is integrative, complementary, or alternative healthcare, of which medicine is one, but only one facet.
That's very interesting, and that's well said, without a doubt. And insofar as this healing work talk tonight. Okay. Insofar as the healing work goes, from the subtle energy field down, does it work right down to the cellular design? You said it activates the DNA, or it works with the DNA. So I'm under the impression it works on a very deep level. Is that correct?
Absolutely, because we are one system, and every facet of the system is affected. Healing doesn't work. There's no such thing as a physical healing or a mental healing or an emotional healing or a spiritual healing. That would be treatment or therapy, which is symptom-based. Healing is about returning to the whole of balance, and in it, the interferences with your life physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually fall away. When you come back into a state of balance, your symptoms leave, because your symptoms have never been the problem. Your symptoms have been the gift. They're the indicator that something's out of balance. It's like if you walk into your house and you feel heat and you smell smoke, and the smoke alarm is going to put out the fire. And when we put out symptoms, when we take an aspirin for a headache, for example, we're cutting the wire to the smoke alarm. What happens with reconnective healing? You fall back into such a state of balance that you step into an expanded state of evolution. So healing is not just about regaining the use of an arm or a leg or a liver or a kidney, your eyes or your ears. Healing is about more expansive evolutionary states of even life relationships, of career changes. You end up, once you experience reconnective healing, once you experience the reconnection, it's almost as if it should come with a warning that says, caution, this may radically alter the course of your life, because it throws you onto your life path even faster than you had in mind, and it may not even be the life path that you had in mind for yourself. The life path that you are here for is what you usually suddenly find yourself having stepped into, and it's already ongoing, and whoops, there you are. It's like you find yourself on a boat in the river, and the river has been going, and you just hadn't noticed it before.
Mm-hmm. That is so true. Wow. And once again, it's getting out of the way, isn't it, to allow the universe to take the course?
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And can you believe we're getting ready to wrap this up with only a little bit of technical difficulties? But it's been great to have you on, Eric. I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight, and I hope to have you back.
It's been my pleasure. I'm so glad we could do it, and maybe we'll have better connection next time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I'll be keeping track insofar as where you're going to be. Hopefully you'll be back towards Denver or Boulder again, and I'll be able to get to meet you and see you.
I would love that. Well, we'll somewhere within the next 3 weeks, if you go to the website, which is thereconnection.com, and remember, you have to use the word thereconnection.com, we will probably have our 2014 schedule up and posted, probably within the next 2 weeks, I would guess, 3 at the most.
Excellent. And have you done a documentary on this?
There are multiple people who've done some filmings and documentaries, and where they are in process.
You're breaking up again. Are you there?
Absolutely no idea.
Okay. All right, I got part of that. Well, yeah. Can you still hear me? All right. Are you there, Mr. Pearl? I think I'm losing him again, guys. Well, we're about 5 minutes out here to the end of the show. And let me go ahead and call him back in real quick. But I did want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and being patient and listening to the show. Sorry about the technical issues.
Hi, here we are again.
I'm telling you, we're having technical issues, but you're 5 minutes out.
Yeah, I know. That's all right. You know, it's hard to do a documentary on this, really, because it's so ongoing. I don't know that I found I don't know that I found a documentary person, I don't know what the word is for that, who really fully has enough of a grasp on this yet to know how to do that.
Yeah, it would definitely take somebody who really knows what's
Is
going
it a what do you call it? A documentarian? I don't know what you call
I
them,
would call
but
it a
I don't know.
documentary, yeah. Well, it's very interesting, but I just want to say thank you
Oh,
again.
wait a minute. Wait, I have
Go
a
ahead.
question though.
Yeah.
Is a documentarian a person who doesn't eat meat? They just eat documentaries?
Oh, that's very good.
Oh,
Well, you
you like
never
that?
know. They
There you
might
go.
be. We need a drum roll for that one now, don't we? Is there anything you want to leave our
Yeah,
listeners with before we roll out of here?
sure. That there's no longer a need today to travel some far distance to find some special healer who was raised on a mountaintop in Tibet and fed specially raised food blessed by monks, or to travel down to a church deep in Brazil to visit some person who changed his otherwise perfectly good last name to of God. There's no reason to travel anywhere. There is no one special healer anywhere. Only one place does a special healer exist, and that's the person you're looking at when you face the mirror.
Wonderful. Very true. Well said again. And thank you again for being on the show tonight. I want to thank everybody for listening and tuning in and being patient with the technical issues. Stay tuned for Shiny Side Out with David Dunger and Becky coming up next to sail you on into the night from down under, of course. And next week, my special guest will be Gordon James Gianninotto. Have a great weekend, everybody. Be safe, and I will see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.